Hey everyone, it's Stephanie with Bottom of the Bin, and today we're going to be making a butterfly floral greeting card for my friend Gwen. So I had made a few of these for a customer who put in a request for custom birthday cards, and I'll put up a picture here so you can see what they look like. And another customer who is my friend, who I actually met when our store was located at the flea market before we got like our physical brick and mortar. She saw them and she really liked one of the butterfly cards, and so I told her I would try to make one. It's not going to be exactly the same, but I will do my best to mimic it as much as possible. So we're going to go through and look at some of the, oops, this flips this way, some of the cardstock I have and see what we can find that kind of matches the vibe and the aesthetic. So I think I might just use this paper because it's the same, it's from the same pack, but it doesn't have the butterflies. But I do have all of these, and we should be able to find two or three butterflies that kind of match the color scheme of the flowers, and then we can just create our own little shape of butterflies cascading upwards. So let me go ahead and trim this out, and then we will figure out the layout and exactly which butterflies we're going to use. So I'm going to cut off this bottom part first because we don't need that, and I know I want the main part of the card to be the flowers over here. And so since I usually make 5x7 cards, we're going to start at 5 inches and just trim right here so we still have the flowers as our focal point, and then we want it to be 7 inches high, so we'll do the same thing here. We'll start at 7 inches, and I don't want to trim off the top of the actual flower. And also we need to make it a little bit smaller because this is actually going to be the front of the card. We're still going to put some sort of border, so let me actually trim it a little bit smaller. We'll go approximately here, which is about 6 3/4, I believe. And we'll do the same thing on this side, about 4 3/4. We're cutting off a bit of the flowers there, but that's okay because it's cut off on both sides, and I still think it looks very cute. The next thing we want to do is match it to a cardstock to create the base. And I do have this left over from last time. I don't even know if this is the right size. It is not. It's too short this way, so we won't be able to use this. But I have a whole bunch of other pinks here as well, a bunch of solid pinks. So let's see what can be the best match for us. This one's really cute. It has a bit of a shimmer, and I think that'll work nicely because we'll add our own bit of shimmer with some pop dots at the end or some pearl dots, liquid pearls. They're called a bunch of different things, but these liquid pearls are my favorite. All right, so since this is going to be the border, this is the one that needs to be 5x7. It might actually be 7 inches already. It is. So I should be able to just trim this here at 5 and get a couple of different bases so we can save for other cards. I always try to save, especially, well, I save everything, but especially solid backgrounds because I tend to use a lot of the same colors. So it's great to just grab one when I need one. So now this should fit just perfectly. Oh, that's so cute. I really like the shimmer. All right, so let's figure out where we're going to put our sentiment, which in the previous card, we actually cut it out with this so that it would peek through and you would see the background behind it. So let's try that and see how it looks. Hopefully I don't mess it up because this is the only sheet of this paper that I have left. But I really do think she'll appreciate using the same style. I know I had a little bit of a hard time punching this last time. It was very difficult, so I might have to stand up and put my entire weight into it because this punch, for whatever reason, just doesn't want to cooperate. There we go. Oh my gosh, I hope this ends up looking okay. There wasn't a whole lot of white space here. So let's see. Okay, so cried. It looks like it says happy birthday. We're gonna, oh man, now I ruined the paper. I bet you we could put a solid white piece behind it, just like that tiny little corner to cover that up. Or maybe we can see what it looks like on the light pink instead. It's still a little hard to read. I'm hoping white will look better. Let's test it here and see. And oh gosh, not quite right. And the reason is because the pink goes into the white here. So if we use a white background, the white's not going to pop. And if we use a pink background, the pink's not going to pop. So let me think for a second and see what we can do to salvage this. Actually, I think I know what I'm going to do. We're not going to have like the fun happy birthday cutout, but I think if I just take a white piece of paper or even that light pink and cut it to the size that I messed up, we can just stamp happy birthday on there with one of my stamps. So let me find a happy birthday stamp and some matching ink, and I'll be right back. Okay, I found a couple options here. This one's really big. This one's a little bit smaller. I think that should fit just right. So yeah, if we just get actually, I think the light pink would be nice instead of using the white. If we just get this light pink and stamp it there, we should be able to cover it right up. And I'm hoping this pinkish red color, oh, that looks like it's going bad. I don't know. We'll try it and see if this works. Okay, so we're going to peel this off and put it on our block here. I should be using a stamping platform, but as I've said in my previous videos, I'm a little bit too lazy to pull one out when I just need to do one simple little stamp. So I will just hope I don't mess up. And since this isn't going directly on the card itself, if we do mess up, we have an opportunity to stamp a new one. It looks like the ink's okay. Just make sure we get it on there nice and good. Hopefully we cover the whole thing. Okay, so it does look like it has a few lines going through it, but I think it's because the paper itself has that. But since our actual card is a bit more shabby chic and looks like it's more vintage and older, I think it's going to work out pretty well. I don't think it's going to be that much of a distraction. So let's trim this up and see if it fits just right. I'm just going to get an equal amount on the top and on the bottom, just kind of eyeballing it, not doing any exact measurements. Looks like we could take a tiny bit off on this side. Okay, let's see what that looks like. All right, I think that will work if we just put it right about there. It's pretty, but I think maybe we could put a border around it as well. So we did have two of these shimmery pieces, so I think we could use one to do our border, so it just kind of all matches and ties together. And I'm actually going to tape this down on here first before I trim it, so I get it exactly where I want it. Okay, so I've got my tape runner. I use AdTech. I like this one very much. I've used a bunch of different ones, and this one always works best for me. And you can get the refills fairly inexpensively on Amazon. I usually buy like, I don't know, 100 at a time, so I never run out. And we're just going to get this right here. Just leave a tiny bit of a border. We don't want this to take up the entire card. It's already a pretty big sentiment. So let's just go ahead and trim it up just a tiny bit on each side. Okay, perfect. Hopefully that pops a bit more. And yes, all right, that definitely looks better to me. And then once we have them layered, it should all come together very nicely. So I'm gonna start taping these down as well, and then we'll start looking for the butterflies to match. I always start with the smaller piece. That way, if I accidentally get tape or glue on the outer edges, it's not gonna mess up my paper trimmer if I need to trim it. And obviously it's not gonna be there and making the card sticky if we miss a spot or if we accidentally put it on the wrong spot. And this is gonna be a bit harder to do since I did mess up. So we're gonna go this way. Normally I wouldn't do that because you can see the tape in between there, but it's gonna be covered, so it doesn't matter. We're gonna line it up. We're gonna line it up just right. Perfect. And then we'll add our tape on this one as well. And just leave enough border on both sides. All right, great. Now, again, it did cover up more of the flower than I was hoping, but we have to work with what we have. And now let's see what butterflies we can get on here to work out nicely. So this one's almost the exact color. It might blend in a little bit too much, where something like this, especially since it has the black around it, is gonna pop a bit more. And I do like I have a lot of different butterflies in here, but I like these sort of fabric ones. It's not really fabric. I don't know what to call it. So we'll try to stick to those. It'll be nice if we have something similar. Okay, what about this one? That one's a bit of a lighter pink. It does have some dark colors in there, so it doesn't blend too much. Oh, that's even better. Okay, so we have two. Actually, two might be enough. Let's see what that looks like just on its own. So if we have one kind of sitting on this flower here, and one maybe kind of going a bit over the sentiment. Let's swap them and see. I actually think that looks pretty good. I do feel like it needs a third one here. Maybe like either one of these sort of clear ones, or I wish I had like a little itty bitty tiny one to go there. Actually, I found this one. This one's a paper one, and it's a little bit of a different pink, but I think that might work. Let's keep going and see if there's anything else in here that we can use. Here's another little tiny one. It has a bit of gold on it, but that, ooh, wait, that might be pretty cute actually, because it doesn't distract too much. That might work as well because it has the little dots. All right, let's see what looks best. So, I mean, that one doesn't distract, but I think it also blends in a little too much. This was like the first one that we had that we were thinking about. Let's try a few of these. That one could work too, because even though it is the same pink, it kind of pops a bit on the green and it isn't super distracting either. I think that's not quite the right color. And that could work too, but I think it blends a little too much. All right, I think that's our configuration. I'm happy with it, so let's go ahead and get it all glued down. This time I'm gonna use Fabri-Tac. I usually use hot glue, but this material is a little bit thinner, so I think just using this will be better. It won't burn through it. It does take a little bit longer to dry, but I'm not in a hurry to get it out. I'm gonna put some just here in the middle and a little bit on the wings. It is clear, so even if you see it, it shouldn't be a big deal. And we'll get this one placed right there in the middle. We'll do the same to this one, a bit on the corners, a bit in the middle. And we'll put that there. And the last one, and then we still have some embellishing to do. All right, I want to make sure this one frames the birthday without covering it up. Perfect. Before we do the final embellishments, I'm going to get it taped down to our cardstock, which I cut before the video. And this I'm just going to tape down. I always go on the base here, again, just to make sure we don't get any extra glue in case we have to trim it if we mess up. Don't want to get our trimmer or our scissors covered in glue. I do have special scissors that I use for things like that, but they're starting to get really gunky and gross. And then I use the crease here just to line everything up to make sure it's perfect. All right, next we're gonna go in with our embellishments. This is a bit too light, I believe, as well as this one. Let me see if I have like a more hot pink. Okay, I have this one, which I think it's perfect. And then I also have my glitter ones, which might be really nice to add a bit of glitter to the project. That, I think this one will work. So let's go ahead and start embellishing. Now there's not a whole lot to do because the butterflies already have like these really cute rhinestones in the middle. So I'm not quite sure what I'm gonna do with these. Maybe something super subtle. Maybe we'll just use the glitter one and kind of trace the petals on the flowers, just to give like a little extra pop and dimension here and there. I like doing this to all of my cards because it adds not only some visual interest, but it makes it look so it's not so just flat. It kind of feels like it's jumping off the page a bit more. And I mean, who doesn't love glitter? I think this will be just perfect, and we'll do the same to the other flower on top here. So you don't actually just have to use these for dots, obviously. I use them a lot just for highlighting certain areas. And then with the glitter ones, sometimes I even just go through and like rub them in. So if I'm dealing with paper flowers or something like that, I just go ahead and rub it in. I'll show you a bit here on one of the wings. So I'll just dab it on first and then just use my finger to make the butterfly a bit glittery here. You don't have to put too much, very subtle. And I think that came out super cute. I hope Gwen loves it. I hope whoever she's giving it to for their birthday loves it very much. And thank you so much for watching. Don't forget to subscribe so you don't miss the next video. And make sure to leave your comment below to let me know if you like this card and let me know what type of videos you want to see next. I do mostly paper crafting, journaling, some watercoloring, but greeting cards captured my heart. And so I love greeting card suggestions as well. See you next time.